Good evening, and thank you, family and friends, for joining us here in this celebration. I am both honored and humbled to be inducted into the St. Michael's College Athletic Hall of Fame. As a runner and as a coach, I worked hard to proudly represent St. Michael's College. Now, as far as my running career, I only accept this honor as a representative of Coach Pecor and my entire team. In my mind, in cross country, all success comes as a team success. And as a cross country coach at St. Michael's, I want to thank Zach Ludovich and Margaret Ford for the opportunity to help guide our cross country teams. To the women that I coached primarily at St. Mike's, I thank you for your dedication from the bottom of my heart. I loved coaching you, and we were good. Now, looking back on my life, I'd like to offer some sage advice that intertwines with the progression of my involvement with St. Michael's. Don't be afraid to make difficult decisions when circumstances call for a change. Now, when I arrived at St. Michael's in 1969, I joined the first cross-country team in the all-men's college of St. Mike's. We were all rookies, yet having graduated from Harwich High School and a small class of 52, I had absolutely no experience running cross-country. And while I ran track successfully, I came from Harwich and Cape Cod, and my town doesn't have a lot of hills. So as inexperienced as I was, I knew I could run. My first cross-country training experience involved our training camp at Lincoln Gap. I don't know if you know much about Vermont, but Lincoln Gap's pretty steep. And we ran up and down that mountain for a week, and that straightened out my hesitation for running hills. Thanks to Coach Pecor and my team, we were quite successful from the very start. As a matter of fact, we're a tough and dedicated team, and we had the best record of any team at SMC. Peter Lastraszewski was our top runner, and I followed his lead as our second runner. He taught me a lot. However, when I arrived back for our sophomore year, Pete greeted me with the fact that he had mono and would be out for the entire season. I remember going to his room and sitting with him, and I said, "Pete, how do you do this? How do you win at this level?" Anyway, we continued to move forward and bond, and we did well. Our team raced very well. One story I need to share with you. It's kind of a little bit of a racer's nightmare. So my mother and my sister only saw me run once in my entire life. There was a large invitational in New York, and I was very excited. So the gun went off, and someone stepped on my shoe, and my shoe came off. Of course, shoes were even difficult there, and we taped them on. So as I looked up and saw hundreds of runners just walking away from me here, I had to stay calm. I put my shoe on, and then I started tracking them down. Every time I went by a member of my team, I clapped them on the back and I said, "Come on with me, let's go." And I kept going and going and going. We actually did pretty well in that race. I finished in the top 20 in that race, and we were a good team. It was a good experience. I ran as a strong team member in my junior year, but as an English major and an education minor, I needed to change my course from cross-country running to committing 100% to earning a high school teaching position at a time when there were few, if any, jobs at all. So I student taught at Essex High School well beyond the requirements. I taught a variety of courses, in particular my freshman English course that I taught from day one until their mid-year, giving them their mid-year final and turning in their grades. I student taught through the second half of the year, and I was hired. Had I not taught for that full year, there is no chance that I would have gotten that job. And so began my career teaching and coaching at Essex High School. One of my first runners I had the pleasure and good fortune to coach was Joan Rice. She was actually the daughter of John Rice, my talented and very kind English professor here at SMC. Now, Joan was a top-notch high school runner, second only to future Olympian Judy St. Hilaire. Joan was tough and talented, and from Essex went on to become St. Michael's first women's cross-country runner. And I'll tell you, I am absolutely so proud of her. After her stellar career as a collegiate runner, she went on to serve St. Michael's as an English professor and as a dean. Joan couldn't be here tonight, but she wrote me a very kind letter. I got it just the other day, and she tucked this in the letter. So Steve Dowd, first-year coach coming from St. Michael's to Essex, in our first meet, I wrote these sight cards for every single athlete in my team. This is Joan's. I am proud. I am confident. I will run with my head. It will push me, and I will outthink my competitors. Joan saved this card for 48 years. 48 years and mailed it to me. I'm going to get it back to her. Well, to my delight, she also joined me as Coach Rye, my fellow coach in coaching our women's team. Joan is a fellow member of the St. Michael Athletic Hall of Fame. And my former runner, Amy Vile, of the class of '98, is also a decorated member of the Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool, huh? Well, at Essex, I taught for over 40 years and coached as a head coach or assistant for over 30 years. Our teams represented Essex and Vermont very well. As a head coach and later assistant coach, I joined a talented team of athletes and fellow coaches, and my friend Joe Ganello, a St. Michael's graduate, 1980, so we coached together, where our girls' track and field teams tied the national record for consecutive state championships. Coaching with head coach Karen Albright, who was actually one of my runners, our girls and boys team won numerous state championships. And in the first New England championship held in Connecticut, and they were so cocky, in 0 or below 0 wind chill, which was perfect weather for us, our teams combined to win both races, the first school in history at that time to win both New England championships. Well, after years of coaching in high school, I made the decision to seek a different challenge and volunteered as a cross-country coach working with Zaf and Margaret here at St. Michael's. I stopped coaching high school track for a while, and I coached my daughters in junior high track and field. Both very good decisions and very rewarding experiences. I assisted men and women in cross country, and after 4 years assumed Margaret's position here as the women's coach. I thoroughly enjoyed coaching our women and will forever appreciate their dedication. Just like our recognized tennis honoree Greg Clough, I absolutely believed in our runners' ability to compete with the elite of the NE10. During my 6 years as a head coach, 3 times our women placed 4th in the NE10 championships. And thanks to St. Michael's, I earned my Level 2 track and field certification in endurance training, and I brought that knowledge back to my athletes. Little way into my coaching here, the men's position opened up. And I had to laugh because they said, well, of course you'd like to coach the men. I said, no way am I doing that. I am not turning my back on my women who train so dedicated. There is no chance. And we trained hard, and we competed proudly as a close-knit team. Well, I completed my St. Michael's coaching career by making another tough but rewarding decision to move on. As I completed my coaching, I took time to sail competitively with my daughter and my son-in-law. Years later, quite sadly, my son-in-law passed away from cancer. So each experience of our time together was even more valuable. And as I left St. Michael's Cross Country, I am delighted to say I recommended the pursuit and hiring of Molly Enman, now Molly Peters. She is now SMC's exceptional cross-country running and cross-country skiing coach. Her stellar performance makes me feel all the better. My induction into the Hall of Fame truly highlights the dedication and success of my original teammates and the later athletes I coached at SMC. I am proud to have played my small role in the continuing evolution of St. Michael's cross-country running. Thank you.